Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Okay, I hope all of you are well, and I'm glad to see all of you here. Yeah, so I'm glad that Mani has joined us, and I can see also some new faces with us here. I know there are some we were doing some trainings before. That was last year. Yeah, I think that was last year. We were doing some trainings with some of you, so I'm glad to also see them here. So this first session or this first training, it is just an opportunity to familiarize ourselves with what is virtual assistant, what does it entail, and then we'll be doing more of, we'll be picking a specific item, and then we'll be discussing further in the coming weeks or in the subsequent weeks. But for today is more of a generalization to give us an idea. I know there are some who already know what virtual assistant entails, but we have some of us here, it is their first time. They have the skills, but they don't know what it is all about. So before starting, I'd like just to share something here. This is a scripture from the church that I attend, and this scripture, it was given to a modern day prophet, and here it says, and it is my purpose to provide for my saints. So saints, it can be everyone who is here, for all things are mine. So as we do these trainings, I hope that you understand that God, he is aware of all our needs, everyone's needs, and he has provided this platform for all of us so that we may also be able to meet our various needs. We know from the scriptures in Matthew, Jesus Christ, he talks about that the birds of air, they are being provided for by our Heavenly Father. Even as human beings, fathers, they ensure that their kids, they have it. How about God? So this is just a word of encouragement to everyone. We are in different circumstances in life, that you should know that God, he is aware of your situation. And then the next thing, I like just to read this quote from Martin Luther King Jr. And he said, if a man is called to be a street sweeper, he should sweep streets even as Michelangelo painted, or Beethoven composed music, or Shakespeare wrote poetry. He should sweep streets so well that all the hosts of heaven and earth will pause to say, here lived a great street sweeper who did his job well. You know that we are training with the aim of helping you to have job to work, to be able to work from your home remotely. And as you get that opportunity to work, it is your responsibility for you to ensure that you do a perfect job. It will really be something bad to have an opportunity and then you spoil it because you are not meeting the expectations or you aren't doing what is expected of you. And so let's just remember this quote from Martin Luther King Jr. that if you have an opportunity to do anything, give it your best. If you're working for a client, maybe in travel industry or in any given industry, ensure that what you do, the person will be always happy. It isn't something that the person will always be worried, are you doing what is required of you or not? And so I like just to put that out as we start. So as we continue, in the coming weeks, I'll be assisted in training by a friend and a brother. He's called Emmanuel Poba. He's with us here. So from next week, I will be assisting each other with the trainings, and then you can always chip in if you have an idea, if you have a question. the floor is always open. So don't restrict yourself or don't feel afraid to ask a question. So as I said, today we are just going to be looking at what is virtual assistant. So from a historical point of view or from a traditional kind of work, I think many of us here, we have heard of admin assistant or administrative assistant. As if you go to some offices, you realize there's some offices. Let me use an example of Safaricom. Sometimes back they used to have an office where people, if you had a question, you make a call and there's someone who respond to you. So that was called customer service. So that's just an example of an office work. And so the traditional job that was called admin assistant, today it is part of what is called virtual assistant. And so instead of going into an office and then maybe receiving calls, responding to emails, maybe writing memos and all that, today you can work from home and you can assist businesses from any part of the world. And so that's in a nutshell what virtual assistant is all about. And so to help us maybe grasp or to understand what virtual assistant is all about, I'll just use some job descriptions. So there will be varied job descriptions, which will go through them, and then I'll mention some of the tools that most virtual assistants they need to familiarize themselves with. Some of the tools that you need to accustom yourself with. And so I'll start with some of the skills from various job descriptions. So here I have just a small, it's from a company. You can see, oh, let me share my screen. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
Yes, we can
yeah,
see
yeah.
it.
Yeah, I can see.
Okay, I don't know if there's any
Yes.
questions so far before you can proceed. Does anyone have any questions so far?
Yes, for me, I'm good. We can proceed. Maybe the
Oh,
rest.
okay, thank you. So here is just an example of a job description. As I said, we'll use some of these job descriptions to acquaint ourselves or to familiarize ourselves with what is required of a virtual assistant. As I mentioned, it is a wide and varied topic or a wide and varied job. So it isn't super specific, but it is very wide and it covers a lot. So here's an example. We are being told this person must be familiar with cookbooks or QuickBooks Online, and they must be an expert communicator. That's verbal and written. So that's very important. For example, if you are to write emails, you have to ensure that you do your best to have good grammar, because there are people who are very petty, you know. So you'll be doing work for someone, and if you're writing emails, later on I'll share some tools that can be used for email marketing. So if you're writing emails and they have maybe punctuation errors or grammar errors, there are people who they will look and they won't mind, and there are people who will look and they'll perhaps think that business is not very professional. And so that's why it's very important as a virtual assistant to ensure that you are good verbally as well as when writing. Okay. And then you have to be detail oriented and efficient. Okay, they continue some of those things. So I like this, these are usually just general skills, but I want to focus more on the specifics. Okay. Okay, so you can see here they have mentioned experience with software, and then they have mentioned you have to be experienced with Google Meet. Right now we are having this meeting. We are using Google Meet, and then OneDrive. If you don't know what OneDrive is, you can ask Slack. This Slack is just an example where you can use it for project management, or you can use it for communication, whereby people they can be assigned different tasks. Okay, so those are some of the things, and then you can, these rest are just general things that you need to know, like you have to be dependable. I started by sharing a quote from Martin Luther King Jr. If you are given an opportunity to be a street sweeper, ensure you do it the best that no one ever has ever done it. So those are just obvious things. So we look at other skills. So I'm just going to share, I got here some links. So you can see virtual assistant, and here they are being specific. As I said, virtual assistant is broad, it's very wide, it's very broad. You can see these ones, they are very specific. Virtual marketing assistant. So last week when we were doing the introductions, there are some people who said they have experience in social media marketing. That was, I think, Sister Ohana. And then there was also Sharon. She said she also has experience in the same. And then we had Emmanuel. He said he was an intern digital marketer. Okay. So those here, when they talk about virtual marketing assistant, it's mostly in those areas. Okay. And then you can see they have provided more details here about the company. So we are going to see key duties and responsibilities. So I hope all of us are being attentive so that you know what virtual assistant is all about. You can see key duties and responsibilities. We have social media. So that is social media manager basically, or social media marketing. So they are different. Social media marketing and social media manager are two different things. Okay. So social media, we are being told to manage and to schedule content across multiple platforms. So you have to know different social media that people use. Here they have just mentioned Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. But there are other people who use other social media platforms like X, formerly known as Twitter. We have TikTok, that is very famous right now. There are people who also use those platforms. Now you need to know how you can schedule, and we shall be looking at some of the tools that you can use to schedule your different content across different platforms so that they go live at the same time. And then you should be able to create, to edit, and to publish. Now you have to know how to go about this. Not just any content, but it has to be very engaging. Okay. So you can see here, at least they are giving people that details. They are telling you your social media content that is engaging, it must have text, it must have image or video content. So that means you have to be able to know how to edit images, you have to know how to edit videos, because you're not just going to post text alone. You have to include images and you have to include video. Right now, a lot of people are using AI. Most people, you'd find them, they are so much into using AI to create content. But there are people who don't like AI content because most times it doesn't do so well. And so there are people who prefer you create the content from scratch. That's why they have given you that opportunity. You can use AI to get ideas of the content, and then you find time and you use your creativity, you use your critical thinking to come up with content. We are still on social media. You can see to monitor and respond to audience interactions. So with these ones, you have to know, because when you're responding to people, I think most of us, we have visited uh, once or twice or more some company's social media page, or we have interacted maybe with their page. And sometimes you see some companies, they post something, and when you go to the comment section, you find so many negative comments. And so you need to be professional to know how to respond to those people in a professional way, without maybe making them maybe feel like this company, they don't care about their voices, you know. So you have to be very professional if you have such an opportunity. This mostly for social media manager. All this, that's why I said social media manager or managing or management and social media marketing are different things. So here is just management. They are not talking even about marketing. So posting, creating content, engaging the people, responding to their inquiries, responding to their concerns, all that. And then you track and analyze social media metrics. So you have to know, like this week, the various content that you posted, how did they perform? You know, uh, how many people did they reach? That is the impression. So you have to know impressions and reach. So in social media, not only in social media but even in Google, there's usually let me use meta impressions versus reach. So you can see there's usually impressions and reach. So you have to be able to understand these two, because when you're providing report to your client, maybe at the end of the week or at the end of the month, you have to know how to provide that report. How many people did it reach? How many impressions did it have? Okay, so that's basically about social media. Now we are going to graphic design. So you can see here the details. To develop visually appealing designs for social media posts, newsletters, and other marketing materials. That's why you see here the job description is marketing. So it isn't just about social media. We can see it also entails newsletters. So sometimes when you visit websites, you will see like a pop-up. A pop-up is just like something comes up and then they say maybe sign up to receive maybe communication from us, sign up to receive maybe latest products, all that. That's newsletter. And so you have to be really good when you're doing graphic design. Let's say you have a client who runs an e-commerce. Okay, they run an e-commerce and they have new products. You have to be creative enough to create a good design that is very appealing, that can be used for newsletters. And so you have to know something that used for newsletter, it might have different format, and then the one used for social media, it might have different format. So you have to know those descriptions. For example, if you are designing something for Instagram, the measurements probably will be 1080 by 1080. If you are running a Facebook ad and you are creating the creatives probably, by creatives I mean the designs, those visuals, the image that you create. For maybe if you're running Facebook ads, probably you'll use 600 by 600. So you have to know these different measurements. Okay, and then they say and other materials, and then maintain brand consistency across projects. So you have to know that given business brand, you have to know their logo. You have to know if they are using a specific font. You have to know that kind of font. If they are using a specific type of headline, you have to know. So you have to know all those. I think all of us, we have done computer packages, and you have definitely heard of font family this. So you have to know, okay, this. You have to know if they are using, they have specific brand colors, okay. You have to know all this information. So most clients, they will share with you. They'll have, if it's a serious business, because we'll be dealing with different people. We might be dealing with small businesses as well as very established companies. If you're dealing with an established company, they'll send you a document, and that document will contain their brand. Their brand will include their font styles, or it will include the different headlines that they use. It will include the different colors and all that. And so when you're doing the designs, you have to ensure that it is consistent across different projects. Majority of us, if you see this, if you see this, even without this word KFC, if you just see this image, you'll know this is KFC. Even without this name below KFC, if you just see this image, what comes to your mind first is KFC, and that's because they have maintained their brand. Another example is this. They have a certain brand, so the moment you just say it, even if you didn't have the colors or the words, you will just know this belongs to this company. And so that's basically branding. Okay, so you have to ensure that there is that consistency. And then it involves collaboration. If you get an opportunity to work with a huge company, you might be one virtual assistant who is maybe given that assignment to just do the graphics, and then there will be someone else maybe who is specifically employed to do copywriting. Copywriting is coming up with that text or the content. So you might be coming up with the graphics, him or she is coming up with the text. So you have to collaborate, and that's why you have to use those communication tools like Slack. Okay, you can see they have like a workspace. So you have Slack, you have Asana, there are so many. Manage your team's work projects and tasks. So you have to collaborate, okay. And then assist with the design of landing pages. So as you are told here, the job description is marketing, and as I mentioned, marketing is very broad, like it's very huge, and as well as virtual assistant is very broad in itself. And so when with the designs, you might find that sometimes they come up with landing pages. So landing pages are different from, so you have a website. So websites, they usually provide like so website, they give you information about a certain company, okay. So you can find, let me just check one website here. Let me check, let me use this. So this is their website. So you'll find that the website, it provides mostly information about the products they have and all that. So you can see this is the Tesla website, and you can see it provides information about whatever they have. They have vehicles, they have energy like solar panels and all that, and then they have EV. These are electric charging for electric vehicles, and you have all that. See, so this is a website. Now landing pages, they are very different. Okay, right now if I search here solar panels, so you can see we have here sponsored. These are Google ads, and so if I click on this, it will not lead me to the website. It is going to lead me to their landing page. So landing page, it mostly contains just a specific product which a business is selling. Okay, so you can see if I click, I don't want to click because these people are spending money on it. So if I click and I'm not buying, I'll just be using their money for nothing. So yeah, so this is a landing page. If you click on it, you will see it mostly has a specific product. You might go to the company's website and you find they have so many products, but when you click on their ad, it leads you to just one specific product that you can purchase, or you can provide your information so that they can contact you pertaining to that given product. Okay. So that's basically about graphic design. You can see you are doing graphic design, but you are partnering with social media managers, you are partnering with those who are doing email marketing, and you're also partnering with others who are doing different marketing and who need the marketing materials, as well as you are collaborating with others, including the head of marketing, so that you know like what's the product that you need to push to the people or to the audience or to the potential customers out there. You are working with the mostly landing pages is made by mostly web designers, but it can also be made by even those who do email marketing. They can come up with landing pages. Okay, next responsibility, because we are looking at responsibilities of this job description, virtual marketing assistant. And so we have looked at some of the duties and responsibilities, and now we are here at marketing strategy and planning. So in case you have gotten a job and you are social, or you are marketing assistant, okay, so you are virtual marketing assistant and you have been given that job, you have to come up with a marketing strategy and planning. And that marketing strategy, it will encompass a lot of things. You can see I work closely with the head of marketing to develop and refine marketing strategies for various clients and internal projects. Then contribute content planning by developing details. So when you are creating a marketing strategy and planning, it can cover up to even 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, and then you can fine tune it along the way. You can make adjustments along the way. So like if you are given that opportunity to do maybe marketing strategy, you have to come up with a detailed marketing strategy, which might include actually you doing the graphics, like doing the designs of the various images that will be used, coming up with the text itself, coming up with the videos, and then you can make adjustments along the way. The next duty here is outreach, and they say assist in identifying potential clients. So the job description is virtual marketing assistant, and you can't be doing marketing if you can't identify potential clients. That's quite obvious. Okay, some businesses, they work with influencers. Okay, there are certain products that are well pushed by influencers who have a certain reach or a certain audience. Okay, so if you are given that job, you have to be able to find them. Okay, and then you have to help draft and send outreach communications. You have to research. So as long as you're into marketing, you have to do a lot of research. You have to know the trends, you have to know your competitors. You shouldn't know your competitor so that you can copy their content, but you can know what they are doing, and then you can know how you can improve your end based on how they are performing. Then coordinate outreach campaigns. Okay, and then we have here miscellaneous. So you can see here they're talking about different tools. As I said, I'll discuss more about tools, not now, later on. So I won't go through all of them, but I'll just mention some of the tools. Okay, so we'll get back there. And then you can see these are just general skills and behaviors. These are usually just very general thing. They aren't that specific. Okay. This also they are general. They are the general things that you need to have. You see, like quality to focus, teamwork. These are things that most of you have been writing in your resumes or in your CVs. Okay. So I'll go to the next because I'll come back here in these tools. So I'll just go to. Time is really going fast, so I don't think we'll go through all of them. Okay, this is another, you can see, executive assistant, and you're being executive assistant to a person. Okay, so I think most of us, we have heard of PA, personal assistant. Now you're being a personal assistant to someone, but you are doing it remotely or virtually. Okay, so you can see sometimes clients, they provide the hours. Like you can see this one, she just wants you to dedicate 5 hours per week. So that's why you might be working for different clients, and that's why you need to be good at time management as well as project management. And you might be working for different clients doing totally different things. For one, you might be a maybe customer service agent. For the other one, like this one, you might be more of a personal assistant to help her with maybe more stuff that we are going to look at. Okay, so that's why you have to be very good, because if you're providing 5 hours to one, and maybe you're providing 20 hours to another one, and maybe you're providing another 10 hours to a different person. So our aim is to ensure that at least you have at least 48 hours of work per week. And to get that, that means you have to work a certain number of hours per day. But you might find one client needs you just to do 5 hours a week, and another one might want you to do actually 48 hours. Another one might want you to do more than that. Okay, so you have to be prepared. Okay, so this is a different job. You can see the executive assistant, more of a personal assistant, because you're working with the person. Here you're working with the company. Here you're working with an individual. So they have given here job description. We're not going to look at it. We're just going to focus on the requirements. You can see key responsibilities: email and calendar management. Okay, so you have to help them with their email management. You have to help them with their calendar. There are people who are very busy, so let me just go ahead and read more here. So email and calendar management: optimize the CEO's time by managing email and scheduling, acting as a gatekeeper for all incoming requests. So you have to see all the incoming requests. You have to know like what is important. For example, let's say you're working with a chiropractor. Let me type here, chiropractor. So let's say you're working as an assistant for someone who is called a chiropractor, and they have like a system where people they can go in and they can book appointments. And so that's why you have to manage their calendar. You have to know at this day, at this time, you're supposed to be meeting with this person. At this day, at this time, you have to be meeting with this person. And now we have what we call most software today, they have something called automation, where most of these things can be done by you just setting up the system. But in case a client can't afford to have maybe a certain software that can do the automation, you might have to do these things manually. Like you have to check the calendar to know at this time you're supposed to be meeting with this person. You have to communicate with their client. Okay, so there are a lot of terminologies. So the person you're working for, that person is your client, and that person they also have their own clients. And so if you're working for them, then you have to communicate with their client if they have scheduled for a meeting. If they need to cancel, if they need to reschedule, you have to communicate with their clients. But you have to do this by ensuring that you communicate with the person that you're working for. You can see to coordinate and to schedule client deliverables. I've already spoken about that. There are some who are life coaches. So there are people, their job description is a life coach. Okay, that's what they do. They coach people about setting goals. They coach people about different things. It can be a motivational speaker as well. They can be authors who write books. Okay, they mostly fall under the same category. So sometimes they do workshops, and if they're doing workshops that means you have to create content to market that workshop so that people can be able to book. You have to communicate with the venue where they'll be doing their workshop if it is in person. If it is virtually, you still have to ensure that the software that they'll be using, you have set it up well. If it is Zoom or if it is Google Meet or any other, you have to ensure that it is set up in advance. You have to ensure that on their end, on your client's end, they are prepared. At least you have to remind them that their Wi-Fi has to be good so that it is reliable, So you have to, it involves a lot, and you might have to attend these meetings to take notes. You might have to take notes, and then after the meeting you have to write to your client, or you have to email them those notes that you wrote so that they can go through and then they can know where they need to make changes. Maybe if it wasn't done great, you have to do follow up with the people who attended the workshop. So you can see it is a lot of work, but most clients they have softwares that do all this, that do just automation. So for you is just to ensure that that software is set up in a way a few days before the workshop the people are reminded, a day before the workshop they are reminded, after the workshop maybe you send them another email thanking them for attending, and maybe a survey to know maybe if there are things that they will want in future to be changed about the workshop. Okay, yeah, and then this already talked about about scheduling and all that. Then travel coordination. If you're working for an international life coach, that means they might travel a lot, doing a lot of coaching, doing a lot of training for businesses, for companies. And so that means you have to know how to book their flights. So the good thing about being a virtual assistant, you have to learn, you have to love learning. So if you don't love learning, then this is not the kind of work for you, because you have to always be constantly learning new tools, learning new skills, learning emerging skills and all that. You have to always be in that desire to always learn. So if it involves you doing travel coordination or coordinating their travel, you have to know how to communicate with them, to communicate with the various service providers. Like for flights, you have to know when they're supposed to check in, when the flight is supposed to leave and all that. If it's a hotel, when are they supposed to check in and to check out? What are some of the services that they like themselves? So you have to learn also about the person, so that you don't book for someone a 3-star hotel when themselves they love a 5-star hotel and they can afford it. If maybe they will be driving themselves. Some people they like to hire vehicles and then they drive themselves around, or they like maybe to have more of a chauffeur or a driver to guide them, or a local tour guide. You have to know all those information. You have to maybe organize travel receipts, so you have to keep all this, maybe for taxes at the end of the year or at the end of the month. When they are filing taxes, they might need some receipts and all that. Okay. If maybe the person needs reimbursement, all that you need to ensure that the receipts are well kept. And then you have administrative and personal tasks. So you can see you handle a variety of administrative requests, okay, with discretion and efficiency. You have to research, to purchase, and then to send clients gifts. So various jobs, they'll have different descriptions, but this, you can see, is an example of administrative tasks. Then you have like project management, what it entails. You have communication and all that. So I can see we are running out of time. So I'll go to some of the tools that you as a virtual assistant, you need at least to have knowledge of, or you need to acquaint yourself with. So I'll start with the basic tools. We have tools that they can be used for administrative tasks. Okay, for administrative tasks, we have tools like Google Suite. Okay, and Google Suite is more of what we call like Microsoft tools. Okay, for those who are used to, if you have done computer packages, you probably know about Word document, you know about Excel. Yeah, so this basically what it is all about. This is Google Suite. So it's the same things, but now you are doing them online. Okay, so like you use like Google Docs to write maybe letters if needed. You use Google Sheets maybe for most of workbook. If maybe a client needs you to have information about their different clients, and if maybe they have paid or not paid, you keep a record of that maybe in a Google Sheet. Let me show you an example. No. Yeah, but just learn about Google Sheets. You have for calendar management, they are different, but majority of us we know Google Calendar, but there are many others. There are clients who use very specific tools for their calendar management. Then Drive, I think we all know it, but you can also use, there are some maybe who might decide to use like Dropbox. Okay, they might use OneDrive of Microsoft. And then for communication, as I mentioned, we have Slack, we have Asana. This where maybe they can assign you tasks, and once you have done a task, you can check it. And then maybe for creating visuals, you can use like Canva is just one of them. You can use Adobe Suites. Okay, I'll type here Adobe Suites. If you are good at it, you can use Adobe Suites to do your graphics. And then for meetings, you can use Zoom, but there are many others. Okay, you can see they have mentioned others here. So I'll go to other tools, like we have already mentioned Canva. If you are doing maybe social media marketing, so social media marketing again is different from social media management. Social media management is mostly you post content on their maybe Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or X or LinkedIn pages. You just post content. That content includes text, it includes a video or an image. Okay, but if you are doing social media marketing, then it means you are running ads, and so you have to acquaint yourself with Meta Business Suite. So you'll mostly run your ads here. So if you are a social media manager, probably you use Meta Studio to maybe to schedule the content and to post it. You mostly use this Creator Studio. But if you are running maybe ads, you are probably going to use Meta Business Suite. And if you are running ads, your focus will mostly be on Facebook Ads Manager. Okay, so this is where you're going to probably be running your ads, and this mostly it will cover Facebook, it will cover Instagram, and then what we call as audience network. So for Facebook Ads Manager, it covers these three. It covers these three. Okay, so you have to have a basic knowledge of the same. And then so that's mostly for marketing. You have also if you're doing marketing, you also have to know about Google. You have to also know about Google Ads Manager and all that. Okay, that's if you're running ads, but we are going to learn all these things, so you should not be worried. Now is just to give you the basic idea, a general knowledge of the same. If maybe you are editing videos for them, you can use CapCut, which is a free software that you can use. You just need to work on the skills to use it. Okay, but if you are a pro, instead of CapCut, you can use, again as I mentioned, Adobe Suite, where you can use any of this. You can use Photoshop, InDesign, you can use Illustrator, and now they also have Figma. Figma is part of Adobe Suite, so you can also use it for mostly creating the images. Okay, so there's something called CRM. Okay, so you have to know some of these tools. So if you are doing maybe you need to to post content on different social media. Maybe you need it to go on or live at the same time, maybe on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok. You can use a CRM, which is a customer relationship management, and is mostly a software, okay, which helps to manage businesses to manage the interactions with their customers. Okay, so there are different, there are so many software that can be used for that. This here you can see is Salesforce. This mostly you can use it when it involves financials, like maybe payments and all that. You can use Salesforce. Also you have Honeybook. This is the same, mostly for financial stuff. You can use it. You can see here they say book clients, manage projects, and get paid. You see, that's mostly for Honeybook. But the other CRM like MailerLite, that's an example of what you can use for email marketing. MailerLite. There's MailChimp, the same you can use for email marketing. So you have MailerLite, you have MailChimp, you can use them. MailerLite. This one, you can use it for email marketing. Actually, you can see create email marketing your audience will love. There's MailChimp, the same. You can see marketing automation and email platform. And then there are other CRM that you can use. Let's say your client wants to sell products online and they don't know where to start. You can suggest to them e-commerce, which you can create in a WordPress e-commerce website, which mostly you can create on e-commerce website. It's more of a plugin that you can install in a WordPress, and then you have like Shopify. This, if your client maybe they want to sell products and they don't know where to start, you can direct them to some of these tools. So I have just shared two of them. We even have Wix.com. There are so many. Okay, this is another. They can sell their, you can create for them and they can sell their products here. So this all, they are still part of just CRM. Okay, or so we have CRM, then we have CMS, and then we have SaaS. Okay, so we have looked at CRM. CRM mostly is like MailerLite, MailChimp. Those are perfect example of CRM, but still even Shopify can be a CRM because you can use it to maybe do email marketing. You can use it to manage client relation. But we have CMS, which mostly they are used to create websites. And mostly CMS is just content management system. It includes like WordPress. That's a great example. Shopify, Wix, they're all CMS. And then we have SaaS, SaaS, software as a service. And one example of software as a service, it's mentioned here. It is called Go High Level. This Go High Level, but there are many. So Go High Level, you can use it to do a lot of things. You can create websites, you can do email marketing, you can do customer service, like you can pick calls through Go High Level. So if your client maybe they're in the US and they want you to pick calls on their behalf, they can give you access to their Go High Level account where calls are received, and then you can be able to receive calls. you can actually, if you're working, many of you, and you have been assigned to be maybe a supervisor, you can assign other people to receive calls. Like a call comes and you assign to someone else, you can know who is online and who is not, and you can be able to assign all that. Okay, now if when you're working, the client has to know that you're working. Money and I have to know that you're working, and so for us, we'll use time tracking software. So one of them is called Time Doctor, and so Time Doctor can send us screenshots. Like when you're working, we can know what exactly are you doing and for how long. So you still have to keep time to record your time on your end, and as at the end, maybe if you are paid every 2 weeks, majority of clients in the US, they pay every 2 weeks. If you are paid every 2 weeks, at the end of second week, when you are sending your maybe your time, we can also confirm on our end. So when we are using maybe Time Doctor, you ensure anytime you start work, you have to start it also, and maybe you can also start your maybe your timer, so that you can also record concurrently. Yeah, so basically that's it. I don't know if any of you has questions. You can feel free to ask if you have any questions. Any questions?
I want to be a little bit clear, Nelson, when it comes to the time doctor, to keep track of the hours that they work. Because if they don't start the time doctor on time, that hour that you didn't play it or press and play or something like that, it's not going to be paid, just to be clear. So as soon as you start, you have to click on start or play or something, right? So it counts the hours. Otherwise, if you started, like, let's say 8 a.m., but you forgot, and then you started on the time doctor at 9, that hour is not going to be paid unless you let us know ahead of time. Hey, Nelson, or hey, Manny, I had an issue, I forgot, and I started at 8. But of course, it will be determined by Nelson if it's going to be paid or not. Okay? Because there has to be like meet certain criteria, and we're going to check the work that you were doing to see if it's really, if it's true that you started at 8 instead of 9, or you know what I'm saying, right? So if it's true that you started at 8 and then actually you forgot, but you continue working, and oh, I remember that I had to play and start, or I remember to clock in, so, but please, you guys need to be very careful with that, because I know that it hurts when you touch your pocket, but that's the reason why we're giving you this introduction about the platform that we're going to be using and the way that you're going to be using it. So every time that you start your day, your Labor Day, you press and start or clock in or whatever that you got to do, so you can start counting your hours. All right? Are you guys clear?
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're clear. We're good.
If you guys don't want to talk, just put a thumb up so I can see that you guys are agreeing. All righty. Thank you guys. Nelson?
I encourage you guys to talk more, because if maybe you're given customer service, are you going to be sending thumbs up when a call comes in? So I encourage you to talk more. Yeah.
Yes, guys, remember, if you're gonna have a conversation with a client, or if you're gonna be working with a client, you need to talk to the client, not a thumbs up.